Have you ever experienced that feeling and twinge of jealousy when you see somebody succeeding in a way that you yourself have maybe been struggling in? Or you see somebody taking messy, bold, brave action and you think they're being irresponsible, they're acting irrational, they're being illogical, and how dare they? You have these feelings come up and you're experiencing jealousy. You're not alone. And I'm going to tell you, and we're going to dissect exactly what your higher self, what your nervous system is actually trying to tell you through being jealous, and how it's not all about their success, it's about your ceiling. So let's get into it. Hello, kittens. Welcome to another episode of the brand new podcast by Miss K. It is obviously your girl, Miss K. These next two episodes that I am recording right now, I really hope if there are any two that resonate that you listen to in this new season, I hope that these two set the tone for massive change and maybe some self-awareness. These are two lessons that I have come across recently that have really profoundly shifted the way that I have seen and moved through the world and experienced my life. I have been going through a lot. I feel like that's something like I say a lot in this podcast, but I'm a very, obviously, as you can tell, self-aware person to a degree that I am very, like, I examine my thoughts and my actions and my behaviors and my belief patterns very thoroughly. And I like to challenge my own perspective of things. And I'm very much somebody who's willing to evolve and willing to explore and grow. And I like to think that I'm also somebody who can admit when they're wrong or take action to make things right when I've done wrong things. Like this new version of myself that I've embodied is this way, and I'm very proud of that. And these two lessons that I'm going to talk on, I think, have really fundamentally shifted how I'm going to move through the remaining 6 months of this year. If not going forward, obviously, through the next season of my life. This is kind of the way that I see things happening a lot. I get these really big revelations and downloads and shifts when I start taking action towards the things I'm trying to embody. And I see so much of this happening throughout my life. And I think that we don't sometimes necessarily pay homage to those parts in our path or those things that shape us and move us through our journeys because they almost seem like just a natural part of the flow. But throughout my journey, every time I've had to take action towards something and embodying something, like with this version of myself now, where I'm showing up for this new season of the podcast, I'm showing up in my coaching business, I'm meeting people and just exploring this new avenue of who I am. I necessarily have just been putting things, I haven't necessarily had like a roadmap. I've just been putting things out there and trying to find my rhythm and being okay with things being messy, things being chaotic, things not flowing right. Changing things on a dime, like my Instagram is a good reflection of that. I'm trying to find a rhythm and a flow and a creative side to my Instagram that reflects kind of what I want the energy to be on it. And I've gone through a lot of different in the branding and things, and that's okay for me. Like I've started to say that that's okay. And now as I've gone and taken these steps, I get more and more and more clarity. And I know that this is truth. I know that this is naturally what happens as we take steps. We think that clarity needs to come in the beginning, but it doesn't, because we're normally overwhelmed and overthinking the process and getting in our own way, the overthinking just being something that we're doing to stay in a comfort zone. But when you take that action, you start to chip away at the things that actually don't matter in the long run, the things that aren't necessarily important. You get them out of the way when you take action through those things you're overthinking of, like the social media or the format of how the podcast is going to be structured, how I'm going to show up and what I'm going to talk about, all these kind of things. And so I recently had two really big shifts happen, really big revelations happen, and they've kind of brought a lot of light. And so in this episode, I'm going to be talking about jealousy and what actually I have learned is showing up when I experience jealousy towards other people who are more successful than me or who are doing things that I secretly wish I could do, taking bold action, making, making messy action too, like taking it and just trusting their intuition, not knowing what's going to happen, having courage and being brave, things that I myself know are required for me in my own journey. But my comfort zones are keeping me very safe and keeping me kind of from taking that action. And so when I see other people doing it, I'm getting triggered. And I'm realizing I'm judging these people. I'm like, this is being irresponsible. They're being whatever. And I started to dissect this, and I'm going to get into this episode more, but that's what this episode is going to be about. And what I've realized is happening when I'm triggered and when I'm starting to become judgmental and all these things, okay? And this is, I think, going to resonate with a lot of people, I hope. And then I also hope it empowers you the same way it has empowered me. It has shifted my perspective. After I brain dumped this to explore why I was feeling this way, I was left with what I feel like now. It's like I've come to a fork in the road of where I'm going to go, or how I'm going to look at situations when they present themselves like this to me now, because I know it's going to come up still. That jealousy will always come up, but how am I going to look at it and what am I going to see it as now has pivotally shifted into something that is far more empowering, and I'm excited to share that with you. In another episode, I'm also going to talk about our core values and how I feel like core values are the cheat code to staying in alignment on the path of everything that you desire. Like, I, for myself, have realized that those having a roadmap and a guide that you can actually physically make yourself for this season in your life is something we haven't been equipped to do. It's like a cheat code and how we can navigate and manifest intentionally the things that we want in our life. And so so that's going to be in the next episode, is when I dive into core values. So I really hope that these two, and obviously they're going to complement each other, because you're going to take action in, moving towards the things that you want in your life, which means you're going to attract people who are also doing that in your life, whether it's through social media or through in-person events, friendships, and all of those things, which means you are going to experience jealousy when you see other people doing the things that you want to be doing, but you have placed a limit on yourself as to what you can do. And so I think that these are going to complement each other to help you in this next version, this next journey of yourself that this version of you is going through. So let's get into jealousy. So the other day I'm scrolling social media, and I started following somebody recently within the last few months who has been taking like a lot of bold action, just according to their intuition, quitting their job. Same story kind of as my beginning of my journey, quitting their high-paying job to pursue a life of creativity and entrepreneurship. And over the course of the few months that I was following this individual, they were taking a lot of action and just according to their intuition, sharing a lot of really great things. I was seeing kind of a lot of the same things that I saw in my first awakening as well, like when I had the first few years of my journey and my spiritual awakening. And I just, I was watching this individual take a lot of action, do things like they came across a dog who needed a home, and they adopted a dog because they felt like their intuition was telling them to adopt it. Just a lot of interesting things. They put in an application to move to a different place, and they got denied. And now they decided to, take this opportunity and go to Bali for a few months. I don't know how long, but they're in Bali right now. And I remember like watching this journey kind of unfold, and I'm thinking, as I'm watching it, the last few things this person was saying and doing weren't sitting right with me. I was being triggered. But yet I didn't want to unfollow. Like, I could sense that in my spirit, I was actually triggered. There wasn't a misalignment of frequencies. I was being triggered, and I was getting jealous, and I was getting bitter, because I've been going through a lot in my business. And I'm in a season of massive change where I'm taking a lot of action that is faith-based on just showing up for myself. And I feel like I haven't been seeing the payoff of that. Like, I have in a way, but I've been too focused on what I have not been seeing, that I am just constantly in this perceptive zone of like, this isn't working out. Even though there are things working out around me, the bulk of the momentum hasn't been empowering. And so when I'm watching this content, I'm getting triggered, and I'm like you're being irresponsible. How you just adopted a dog and now you just left and did this. And like, so you went and applied for a place without even having a backup and all this kind of things. And I just started getting kind of in this like, 3D, limited perspective view as I was consuming their content. But again, I knew I didn't want to unfollow, because it's almost like, it's a weird feeling. I was triggered, I was angry, I was getting jealous, but I was still consuming the content. And so something the other day came, and as I was watching some content, they were saying some things, I was getting triggered again. And I decided, I was like, I got to explore what's going on here. And I started to brain dump everything in my app. I was like, why? I said it as if I was saying it to myself or venting to a friend. I was just pouring it out in my notes app. I was just journaling it out. And I was saying, like, I was just dissecting it. And then I was kind of avoiding asking myself the question of what's really going on. It's funny because I could tell my ego was resisting it. The old frequency, my comfort zone was really resisting from digging into why I was feeling so triggered over this. And then when I finally started asking myself in my journaling, I was like, why am I feeling this way? What's going on? Like, why? And then it was just so weird the way the light bulb went off. I realized that I was looking at her situation and I was capping how good it could get. I was putting a limit on how much of a blessing, she could be in. Ultimately, we all could. Like, okay, you adopted this dog and that's where it should have ended. Like, that's as good as it could have gotten. So that's your dog and da 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 da. And I was putting a limit on all of these moves and these actions that she was taking as the end all rather than looking at a process. Like, I was thinking, I'm really trying to articulate this in a way, but I honestly realized how jealousy was exposing unconscious limits that I was putting on success, on blessings, on creativity, on freedom, on flow, on intuition, on inspiration. That's what jealousy was doing. Because here's an example. I'm looking at this situation where they adopted this dog and that I don't know where the dog is now. I'm assuming it's probably either with friends or boarding or who knows, right? They don't share like all the details, which is fine. I was thinking in my head, okay, so what happens if you all stay in Bali? Now you've adopted this dog you've only had for a month or two, and now what? Now it's back in home? And I was thinking, why is that the limit? Why did the limit of their blessing or intuition end at just them adopting the dog? What if they were the in-between? What if the ultimate home for that dog actually laid in a family that wasn't ready to adopt until 3 weeks from now when they decide to stay in Bali? And it aligns and they end up getting the best dog for them. And this was the in-between. What if them adopting that dog put them in touch with the right person who, when they have a situation comes up 5 years, who knows, right? Like, there's so much that could actually unfold, but I was looking at it as like, that's where it should have ended. And I was like, this is a limit. We do this. It can only get as good as X, Y, and Z. And I had these limits in my mind that were coming up. And I was like, examining this and I'm like, that's what it is. Like, I feel like it can only get so good. And if you do something, that's the end of it. Like, that's the action I take. They adopt the dog now and you have the dog and that's your dog. And you think that that's going to be the path for the rest of your life or the rest of the dog's life. And this is what it's supposed to be. I was masking all of my own insecurities, my own limits in this judgment, in these logical projections really circling around insecurity. And it was such a wake-up call for me to explore. I realized how much jealousy is just limiting what you believe you're deserving or worthy of. So when I got jealous of looking at her content and how she's just up and going without any care about this dog, I'm actually jealous that she has the freedom and trust in herself to be able to pull it and know that it'll all work out. I'm actually jealous because I know it's exposing something in me where I'm still playing small, where I'm not trusting in myself. It is shining light and exposing that in me. And it was such a beautiful, humbling experience because I realized it had absolutely nothing to do with her or them. And this situation, it was all about me. And I was like, that's what jealousy is telling us in our bodies. But we think that it's like we push it down and we don't recognize it. We see it as being jealous. And we've never actually been given the tools to dissect what that actually means. What does it actually mean when you are jealous of somebody who is succeeding or going through these things? It means that you don't believe it's possible for you. It means that somewhere subconsciously you have pushed down and you've limited yourself over how good something can get, how successful it can be, how aligned it could be, or where it ends in this situation. For me, it was like, that should have been the end of it. They should have adopted a dog and they have this dog. It's like a very small, it exposes your small perspective and your tunnel vision onto how something could work. And I was like, this is such an empowering moment because now I realize that when that feeling comes, it's exposing something in me that I'm not allowing myself to tap into, a belief that I'm not allowing myself to tap into, a self-trust that I'm not giving myself, a trust in the universe, a trust in the potential amount of incredible positive outcomes that could come from a situation. I'm immediately jumping into how bad that situation could be or how it could fall apart. I caught myself examining and judging all the content and all these things that she was doing in the last few months, and just recently caught myself thinking, yeah, hate to see it when it's all going to fall apart. And I was like, what is that? What is that energy that this old frequency of me believes is the truth? I only believe that it can get so good. And this is something I think I'm healing through my burnout journey and through the things that I went through in my business. There is a lot that I still have to unpack around the shame of burning out from my business and thinking that I only allowed it to get so good before it fell apart and I burnt out. And so now I'm projecting that shame. I'm projecting things. It was such a beautiful, humbling experience that I could not wait to share with you all. I really think that when we take the time to examine the jealousy that's coming up in us as for what it is, like a symbol that a sign that our nervous system is giving us to show us that we have been playing small or capping ourselves or limiting ourselves, it's your higher self's way of being like, hey, this is actually showing you where you're not letting yourself go big, where you're not letting yourself have what you deserve, where you don't believe that you could have those same things or you could be that same way. And you want it. You feel jealousy. You want to be that way, but you don't have it. And so instead of looking at that and being like, well, why does she? And be like, oh my gosh, this is showing me where I'm playing small. And she is an example of what happens. On the opposite end of that, it's almost like jealousy is a gift, because it allows us to see that the things that we don't believe are possible for ourselves exist in other people. They're there to show us that it is possible. So instead of looking at jealousy with this feeling and misunderstanding this feeling as something quote unquote negative, look at it as, oh my God, this is here to inspire me. I am projecting this feeling of, under the guise of it being illogical or whatever guise you want to mask it. And sometimes you don't even mask it. Sometimes you're just angry because you're jealous. But you look at that situation and you're like, oh my gosh, this is a sign that I, along the way, somewhere in here, don't believe that's possible for me. Don't believe that I can have that. And when you realize that, that's when change happens. I have said this numerous times throughout my years, but awareness is your superpower. The moment that realization hits you, you have shifted timelines. You have shifted and evolved into another version of yourself, because now when jealousy comes up, you're going to look at that situation. You're going to see it for what it is. You're going to be like, oh, I'm playing small somewhere. I'm being triggered because there's something in me that doesn't believe this is possible for me. The second you have that awareness, the second you have power over it, and you can change it, because now you realize it, and it can be one small instrumental action at a time. It can just be seeing that and allowing it to inspire you instead of believing what the trigger, what we've been taught that trigger means, where it's like this negative feeling where we haven't actually been taught to process it or dissect it and dismantle it and see it for what it is, transmute it. That is what an alchemist is. That is what somebody who is on this journey is. It is somebody who takes those lessons and transmutes them. It makes them empowering for themselves. So now, moving forward, when you are jealous, you are going to understand that it is because there is something inside of you that is inspired and wants it, but unconsciously somewhere there's a mismatch because you don't believe that it's possible for you. And now with this awareness, you can take power back and you can say, okay, I'm inspired. I'm allowed this to inspire me and show me what's possible for me rather than limit. Show me what's limited to me, what I can't have. This person has come along, this situation has come along to inspire me, to motivate me, and to help me move into this next version of myself. And you don't even realize it, but you already have with every action. And when the situations again come up and you choose to look at it, you will feel inspired in every single moment. Don't even try to worry right now about what it's going to look like in those future moments. because when they present themselves, you'll know what to do. It might just be that quick check to be like, oh, I'm feeling a certain type of way right now. I'm not gonna, I realize what's happening. I have a belief here that doesn't allow me to believe that this is possible for me. I'm going to choose otherwise. I'm going to see, obviously, it is possible because other people like so-and-so are showing me it's possible to do this, that I can have this trust in myself, that I can have freedom like this, that I can have X, Y, and Z. And so I really hope that the message has come through and resonated with you in the same way that it has resonated with me, that it empowers you the way it has empowered me. It's also been very humbling to realize where that old frequency is still strong in me and where the beliefs are and how I've limited or capped myself and my potential. And I really hope that this inspires you to take more aligned action toward the things that you want and realize that as you do, you're going to come across people who are doing those big, bold things who are on the same frequency of you, and they're there to inspire you. So when you're jealous, look at it as a gift from the universe that has been given to you to see what is possible, to inspire you, to motivate you, to give you hope, to show you that what you want that you don't yet believe you can have is possible for you. That's truly what jealousy is. It is a lesson, it is a sign. And I hope that you start to see that the way that I too now will move forward throughout this next season of my life, because this lesson came to me now for a reason. And I truly believe that it was to walk away with this profound insight, this profound motivation and inspiration and encouragement to see that I don't need to allow this to discourage me when I feel like other people are succeeding in ways that I want to succeed that I'm not yet. I am seeing this because it is a gift from the universe to show me what's possible. To reiterate, it is a loving sign to be like, hey, this is possible. Other people are succeeding doing this, which means you can too. I hope this inspires you. And I'm going to talk to you guys in the next episode where we talk about our core values and how they're the cheat code to navigating and manifesting everything you want in life. I love you guys. I'll talk to you in the next episode. This is Miss K, and I'm out for now. Bye.